Good afternoon. Dang it. From Southeast Asia. This will be episode or volume number 270, 270 of the alienanalprobe.com podcast things. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to let it go there. What would Howard Stern do with that? Probably nothing at all. Nothing suggestive in that. Nothing disgusting, nothing nasty. He'd just keep his big fat mouth shut. Wouldn't say anything. Okay. All tapes are copyright 2023 by stockphotosworldwide.com. You can go there, or you can go to alienanalprobe.com. You can go to theyclaim.com. You can go to savethegaywhalesforjesus.com. No, I'm not kidding. Don't even ask. Vibratingcactus.com has them. I don't know, whatever. There's a list on alienanalprobe.com. There's a list of all the places you can go. And they're in the RSS feeds also. And we got just a tiny little handful on YouTube because we're never going to invest anything of any consequence or seriousness on YouTube because we know we will have trouble with them and we will get pissed off at them and jerk them off. So we don't want people going there and getting used to seeing them there. And then suddenly they're gone one day because YouTube has pulled some stupid Zuckerberg style fucking retarded stunt and pissed us off. We could make a heinous comment like that poor woman on Facebook say something like "all men are ugly." That's what she said. All men are ugly. That's the verbatim quote. Facebook jerked her. And YouTube is becoming a clone now of Facebook because they've seen the power that little fucktoid Zuckerberg can wield. And they want some too. Because they're limp-wristed little jackasses. Probably got beat up a lot on the playground at school and now they're getting their revenge. That's it. That's all there is to it. God, what a world. What a world where this mentality can rise up and get control of things. And the meek shall inherit the earth. Well, they did. And the meek are fucking morons. Okay? That's it. All right. So we're still on the last couple of tapes. I think we did Bigfoot. I was going to let him go. I was going to forget him. I'm done with Bigfoot, for Christ's sake. But I got up this morning, read a news report where some group, I think it's headed by a woman, claims that they have new, exciting evidence that she breathlessly exclaimed that it proves once and for all Bigfoot is real. We got it there. The proof is out there, people. Oh, fucking hell. And they had some DNA on something, and I read the DNA. I went and looked at the DNA, which is always, the gold standard. And it seemed like about half of the labs that tested it said, well, it's human, and the other half said, well, we don't know, we're not sure. But she says that's proof positive. So that's the way every Bigfoot thing has concluded in my experience. I don't know of anything better than that. That's why I'm not actively involved in them. Okay, so whatever. Anyway, here's Bel Air, California. Bel Air? What in the hell, Bel Air? August 1976. Time was 22:45, so let's say 11 o'clock. Okay, well, we'll see where it goes. A sizable fireball crossed the skies of Southern California and apparently crashed somewhere in the foothills north of Los Angeles. Okay. The foothills north of Los Angeles. I swear to God, you can't go 300 yards without finding a group of Mexicans shooting guns. Just lined up, drinking, shooting guns. And each other, whatever, dogs, anything that comes around, they'll shoot. And white guys too. So, with any luck, this fireball thing took out a little pod of them. God. Okay. Later, several police units were dispatched to the above location when a woman telephoned frantically saying that several large gorilla-like creatures were digging holes in her large backyard. God, I love it. I never did street work, and I was in federal law enforcement. I never did any kind of street work. No, nothing where I had to. Well, I had to interact with the public, but kind of sort of my choosing. But nobody could call us or anything like that. So these calls must be just. I hope there's a huge database of crazy calls somewhere we can just go through and laugh and vomit, stuff like that. Okay, so she's got several large gorilla-like creatures were digging holes in her large backyard. Okay, they get these in that area, especially. They get them. They get a lot of these. You're gonna go lights and siren. When the first police car arrived, they were bombarded. Okay, here we go. When the first police car arrived, they were bombarded with several good-sized tree limbs. I thinking that's not Bigfoot. 14-year-old pimply-faced little punks. The creatures were reported to be as tall as a man and yelled and screamed defiantly. Okay, who reported that? The woman or the police? The police had to cordon off the area. That's it, the end. And then what? Okay, and then what? They caught some? Somebody got probed? What? Where's the rest of it? I hate that. Okay, well. This sounds a little bit like that recent case in Las Vegas, doesn't it? She doesn't. It does, kind of. A fireball. Okay, fireball comes down here. Fireball comes down there in Vegas. And then in the backyard, there's big creepazoid things out there digging around doing fucking stupid, crazy shit. Sounds like that a lot. Sounds very, very similar. What the fuck? What the fuck would they be doing? How are they going to get out of a fireball? It just makes no sense at all. Well, at least there's some kind of flying something involved in this, so we get to grade it. We get to rate it. And everybody knows if it's just bullshit, we delete it. If it might have some teensy bit of credibility, we assign a little pinch of sand and we drop it in a bucket. And if the bucket's ever full, then we believe in aliens. Okay, it's at 90% full, about. How many grains of sand can we give this thing? Well, it depends. It depends on if the cops said the creatures were. Well, all anybody's saying is they were as tall as a man and yelled and screamed defiantly. Well, that could be 14-year-old pimply-faced fucking little punks. That's what they do. Mommy tells them to make their bed. That's what they do, And someday they go buy a gun and shoot up a school, because the teacher gave them a C- on a test or some fucking thing. No, I can't do anything. No, I can't do anything. There's fireball. There's creatures the size of humans yelling and screaming. That's it. Okay. Jesus Christ. Okay. More Bigfoot. More Bigfoot, please. Okay. Clearwater, Colorado. Clearwater. Sounds very familiar. Clearwater. About January 1977, times night. The main witness and his wife had bought a ranch in an isolated area in 1975, and for more than a year. Clearwater. Where the hell is Clearwater? All over that state. I'm sure I've been there. Anyway, okay. For more than a year, and they had been experiencing strange sounds, UFO manifestations, and Bigfoot sightings on the property. Sounds like Skinwalker Ranch a little bit. I don't know they ever saw Bigfoots in Skinwalker Ranch on there. Okay, there were some cattle mutilations as well. Well, goddamn. People find a dead cow, they say, oh my God, it's aliens. Well, cows die sometimes. They do. Really. Well, not sometimes, quite often. And then critters come and peck at them. birds come and beak them, stuff like that. Little parts go missing. Usually it's pretty raggedy and messy, but not always. Tongues can go missing and look like they were surgically removed because some little critters are really good at gnawing, kind of in a straight line. I don't know. I haven't seen anything definitive that says it had to be aliens. They've gone. They've really gone microscopic on some of the incisions and said, well, they had to have been done by a laser. Well, why? Tell me why exactly, specifically. Maybe that's true, but I never have heard a scientific explanation of why it had to be a laser. Well, they say some of the teeny tiny blood vessels are cauterized. Well, are they really? What's down at the cellular level? Are they really? And then sometimes they will even go so far as to say that the incision goes between the cells. It never cuts open or breaks a single cell. Well, that's kind of bullshit because it is all cells. How in the fucking hell could you go between the cells? That's like you go down to the beach and you scribe a land. I'm sorry, you scribe a line in the beach, in the sand. And then somebody says, "Oh man, that's amazing because he went between all the grains of sand, breathless." I don't know. I do kind of sort of believe in cattle mutilations, cow nappings, stuff like that. There's enough of that I kind of am on board with that. But the problem is, those get all mixed up with the reports of a cow that just died naturally. And lots of them do. So, I don't know. Okay, there were cattle mutilations as well. One night, him and the eldest son went up to the top of a hill to examine a burn spot from the previous year. Well, Colorado, everywhere in that state is one lightning magnet son of a bitch. Some of the worst lightning I ever saw in my entire life was all over Colorado. Jesus. Shocking stuff. I mean, no pun intended, but stunning. Oh, no pun intended. Amazing stuff. Okay. And lightning very often will start these little teeny grass fires. We used to find them all the time. I used to ride rustler patrol for a big ranch. We had 1,100 sections, 640 acres per section, and my job was to stop the rustlers. And I would, in some areas you could hardly go, well, in most areas of that thing, you could hardly go 50 yards without finding a spot where lightning had hit and liquefied the stone and the sand. There's a name for that. I used to know it. I can't think of it right now. What the hell's that called? Anyway, and it just makes this little black goobery puddle of shit. Usually not bigger than 3 feet diameter or something like that. Sometimes they're really small, but they're from lightning, okay? And lightning hits cows all the damn time, and you won't always see any evidence of it on the cow. It can hit nearby and just shock it to death, If it hits directly, it's going to blow it up. But if it just hits nearby, strikes the ground, a stone, a tree, or something nearby, it's just going to get electrocuted, and his worries are over, till he rotates back in as a field mouse, There was, cattle mutilations. One night, they find they're looking at a burn spot. Okay, it's probably a fucking lightning strike. As they sat in the car, they went up there at night. One night. Why would you go in the dark to examine a burn spot on the ground? Okay, whatever. As they sat in the car, a beam of yellow light shone on them from the nearby woods. Well, hunters, probably poachers, probably. Walking towards the trees, they discovered a buzzing black box. Now that's interesting. Finally, something. Clearly seen in the light of the full moon. That's interesting. I wrote a whole sci-fi book based around those little nasty boxes laying on the ground. Okay. As they approached, it changed tone, now sounding like a swarm of angry bees. The two retreated to the safety of the car. Why would you? Okay, they thought it was angry bees. Well, maybe it was. Maybe it was somebody transporting a part of a hive to someplace. And they dropped it or some fucking thing, and there's bees around, and it's nighttime, and they can't see them, and the two retreated to the safety of the car. Okay. The witness told the young man to stay by the car and went back to the spot where the black box had been. It was now gone. That's creepy. He saw a light in the trees, and walking toward the light, came upon two individuals standing near the light source. Okay. As he approached, they spoke to him, saying, "What? Wait a minute." He saw a light in the trees, and walking toward the light, came upon two individuals standing near the light source. Okay, got it. As he approached, they spoke to him, saying, "How nice of you to come." What the hell is that supposed to mean? By the way, the big soup cauldron just got hot enough, Come on, climb on in. We've been waiting for you. Some distance away down a slope was a disc illuminated about 50 or 60 feet away. The two beings apologized for the trouble they had caused. What, for offing the cow? Promising a more equitable arrangement, they told him several things he was not to repeat, but which had no special meaning for him at the time. Waterboard that son of a bitch, get it out of him. They regretted damage done to several of the cars. Oh, so this burn spot, it was a biggish thing. It wasn't a little bush that burned up. It was a biggish thing and damaged some cars. But they did not acknowledge responsibility for any of the local cattle mutilations. Yeah, because then they really got to fucking pay. They told him he was wise to have backed off from the black box, which was nearby. What the hell is this? This is a very odd report. They pointed in a particular direction, and the tone on the box changed. As it did, what the hell? This sounds like an Anton Antonov story. This is really odd. This is like a halcyon bad dream. They pointed in a particular direction, and the tone on the box changed. As it did, a Bigfoot-type creature got up off the ground and walked toward the box. Are you shitting me? The tone changed, and the creature dropped. Well, that's a nice fucking trick. Oh, Jesus Christ. How many guys want that for their wife? It's a remote. It's a fucking remote. Oh my God, how many buttons does that sucker have? How many things can it do? Can you pre-program it? Little macro, you just hit one button, it'll do 18 things. Oh my fucking God. Oh my God. Sell those on eBay. Oh, how much would you pay for that? I'd pay my fucking kingdom. Holy shit. Okay. Creature dropped. The meeting lasted 5 minutes. In appearance, the beings were similar, human-looking, about 5'6" in height, and wearing a, here we go, tight-fitting outfit, like a flight uniform, tight-fitting outfit, tight. How many times? 10, 100 billion, 1,000 times we have read tight-fitting outfit. They're usually silver, but not always. Like a flight uniform. Why tight? The suits changed colors from brown to silver. Oh, what the fuck did I just say? God, I'm so psychotic. Psychic. I'm psychic. Their complexions were fairer, and they had blonde hair, not long. Nordic. No, Nordics are tall. I don't know what the fuck. The most notable features were the eyes, which were very large, but otherwise normal looking. They were different in subtle ways, but could pass as humans in ordinary situations. Before the witness walked away from the scene, he was told by the beings that he would see them again. That's another common motif. They'll say weird-ass things like, we will see you in time, and they'll emphasize time, like, you're going to be traveled in time, and so are we, and our paths shall cross, The twains shall meet. Okay. That's what they infer. Huh. That's a very odd report. No, there's no Anton Anfilov in here. Thank God. I'm trying to, I just don't know. This one's kind of got me stumped. We got to figure out if there's any possible credibility to this thing, and I'm thinking there is. I'm looking for reasons why there wouldn't be. It's just so odd. That's why there wouldn't be. It's just so odd. So odd. It's really odd. Okay, I'm not going to go out on much of a limb. I'm going to give it 3 grains of sand. 3 grains, that's not skin off our nose. Man, that's a weird one. Okay, more Bigfoots. New Jersey, exact location not given. January 1977, time is night. A man had come face to face with a huge Bigfoot-type creature. Behind the creature, he said, hovered briefly a tiny pinpoint of light. More Red Bull, please. From which a high-pitched whistle emitted. Behind the creature, okay, a tiny pinpoint of light from which a high-pitched whistle emitted. Besides Bigfoot sightings, the same area had been host to much UFO activity as well. In another case, a humming metallic saucer-like object reportedly directed a beam of light down upon a startled young man. When we're doing the Bigfoot things, you'll notice there's a real absence of, probing. It has happened. There's just a very small number of reports of Bigfoots, and probing in the same paragraph, but very, very, very few. I think maybe the Bigfoots aren't really interested in that, They only like other Bigfoots, something like that, and cows. That couldn't be the explanation, could it? For the dead cows? Bigfoot comes in the night, sees a cow, thinking, oh my God, that's a comely cow. They just fuck him to death. Could that be? No, of course not. That's fucking stupid, moron. Of course it is. All right, more Bigfoot. More Bigfoot, please. Oh my God, here's a small book. This is a novelette. Okay, near Snohomish, Wisconsin, April 1977, time 1600, 4 o'clock. Steve Unzelman was clearing some land behind his property in an area surrounded by tall evergreen trees and brush when he noticed a man-like figure standing close by. The man seemed startled, and suddenly the witness began hearing a loud buzzing sound, and everything around him began to vibrate. Why would they? Okay, so the guy's working, and this creepazoid thing, the other man walks up to him, and then the guy sees the creepazoid thing, but the creepazoid thing is startled. That's rather weird. The figure appeared to be yelling at him. A second man wearing a blue coverall now descended from the sky inside what appeared to be a half-egg-shaped contraption with rotating blades on top. Okay, now people are going to hear that and they're going to think, just delete it now because it's obviously fucking bullshit. No, I used to think that. I have a theory. It's a good theory. It has to do with their propulsion systems, and it has to do with the notion that they cannot use anti-gravity fields near the ground. So, to anytime they're near the ground, coming down or taking off, they have to use some kind of quasi-mechanical means to do it. Every once in a while, you get one that has blades, and they only use it like in the lower 50 feet. Sometimes they have sounds like turbines or something like that. And there's very often the smell of benzene in the air after they go. I think these are just little mechanical devices of some type that get them to and from the ground itself, and then the anti-gravity takes over and they do what they want. So talk about rotating blades, and most people say, "Oh my God, it was a helicopter! Jesus Christ!" No, not so fast there, Paisano. What's a year? What's a year on this? 77. There were some. Well, I don't know. There are some weird helicopters, experimental units that had counter-rotating blades that were kind of egg-shaped. 77. Let's see. They might have been some, shit people built out of the back of Popular Mechanics and stuff like that. They had no tail boom, no tail rotor. Just had counter-rotating blades. Don't know. Could go either way so far. It was creating a strong turbulence all around the area. Well, that sounds more like a helicopter. Both men descended to the ground using this peculiar machine. The two half-egg-shaped objects then suddenly shot up into the sky and disappeared. Both men were described as bald-headed with flat faces. Both had dark brown skin and wore metallic blue uniforms and what appeared to be oxygen tanks on their backs. Okay, you're not going to stuff those into a helicopter, especially the little experimental ones. Both were about 5 feet tall and their heads were slightly larger than normal. Suddenly, the witness heard a loud motor sound and saw a disc-shaped object descend overhead, making the trees whip back and forth. Well, there you go. After emitting more sounds, the object shot straight up, making a siren-like sound. Another odd one. The object was silvery and appeared to have been spinning. So like what? Now it's slowing down. The two humanoids then began walking away, looking over their shoulders at the witness. "You gonna shoot us, asshole?" He then heard a noise and noticed a huge, hairy, Bigfoot-type creature hiding behind a nearby stump. It's another mind bender. The two humanoids then seemed to motion at the Bigfoot to come with them. Heel, goddammit. He seemed to obey and left with them. This is so weird. It's so weird. When you try to make guesses at the intelligence of various Bigfoots and various reports, it runs the gamut from what seems to be utterly brilliant, truly alien Bigfoot creatures to ones that are pretty damn stupid. Maybe this one is a really young one. Maybe it's like a kid one. He's like a 6-year-old, and you got to tell him to come on, time to go there, Bob. Come on, going this way. Keep up. Humans will get you. It seemed to obey and left with them. The witness experienced a memory loss after the incident. Well, it's called shock. That's quite an odd report. So there's flying UFO-looking things. So that's good. It means we can grade it. Means that might have, some place in our bucket. Okay. This is a really odd one. I'm going to do the same thing as before. I'm going to give it 3 grains of sand because I just don't know what the hell to make of it. Somebody somewhere maybe has done some extensive research on this, but I haven't. Okay. What are we doing for time? Oh, we're doing okay. You know what? Let's do one more and then let's make this a short one because some people like short ones. Did we find Bigfoot? No, wait. There we go. Short one. Okay, here we go. Nilla Kobus Mountain, Germany. And I know I pronounced that wrong, and I don't really care. Germans can't speak our language either. They just, whatever. Hand signals. May 1977, times 0500, 5 o'clock in the morning, in the Odenwald forest, 4 young witnesses encountered a tall, hairy humanoid that scurried away into the forest. It left behind 45-centimeter tracks on the ground. That's biggish. What would that be? I'm thinking just a really rough guess. 13, 14, no, 15, 16, 17, maybe 17 inches, something like that. I'm really bad at that conversion. It left behind 45-centimeter tracks on the ground. Police apparently investigated the case. That's about... No, ours weren't that big. We used to make fake Bigfoot wood cutouts, when we were logging and tromp around in the mud, knowing other loggers would find it, probably the same day. We didn't make them that big, though. But, you could, Okay. Credibility or not, there's no flying nothing involved, reported. So, no, they get zippity-doo-dah. Okay. I've already done a couple of other podcasts today on other subjects, so we're going to keep this at 30 minutes because some people like that anyway. They prefer it. That's a hell of a lot easier to deal with a file that size. Alrighty, we're done for now. I'm done. I'm toast. I'm burned up. More Red Bull. All right, thank you very, very much. And good evening and good night. Camera, there we go. Okay, good night.